Hello, everyone at Streaming School. Welcome back for another session. We actually have a new lesson today that we're going to be starting. It is with David down here, who is actually from living in Japan, which is amazing. So this is all around the world. How are you, David?
Doing well, thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes, really excited to have you be here as well. And I won't take up too much of your time, and I will let you get started.
Okay, we'll get right into it. So the focus of these lessons will always revolve around ESL, English as a second language, and EFL, English as a foreign language. A lot of students around the world are struggling with this subject for various reasons and at various levels. I think one of the biggest things that you probably need are tools that you can use, especially right now, tools that you can use on your own so that you
It sounds like Dave's just taking a slight breather, but yeah, I'll let you know when he's back on in a moment.
Yeah.
So I detect in David's voice, he may not necessarily be Japanese born and bred.
Yeah.
So we'll have to ask him at the end of the lesson whereabouts he hails from originally, actually.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting actually to know.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the items he's going to show as well, I actually use with some of my students when when I'm teaching English as well.
Amazing.
It's all the same thing, isn't it? About learning the mechanics. And I actually even use one of them is going to demonstrate with my daughter, who's 6. And I actually really like using it. I actually quite it's very, very useful.
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be really useful. I'm really excited for this session.
Yeah, exactly. How's he doing?
He has left, so I'm hoping he will come back in a second and it will work.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I know that Leon sent a post out today across our social platforms about the number of people who are starting to log into the system. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, so we're
really
now into the thousands per day, which is incredible. And obviously, hopefully that means that apart from the English sessions, which I run, finding them all incredibly useful. And, it'd be great to get some feedback from parents and students, just comments on the various platforms, just what they found useful, what they like, because obviously this isn't a perfect science, nothing is. So it's just a case of being able to know how we can produce lessons which are better for them as well. Because you've seen more of the lessons than I have, Nish, and obviously we've spoken about Mike in science, Alex in Spanish today, Gary with drama, Sam, P and maths. And obviously the list goes on and on and on with the people that are starting to sponsor.
How was that for everybody?
Good.
I like it.
Unbelievable. Sorry, I haven't had any problems. Or I don't know. I suspect it's not live, huh?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry. Hi. Hello, everybody.
It's fine. You are all the way across the world. It's okay.
No problem. I was just keeping them warm for you, David. Don't worry.
Okay, and we're back, and hopefully this will last a little bit longer, everybody. That's a little bit of levity, which is a good vocabulary word for everybody to pick up. Right. So I don't know where it left off, but I will start sort of from the beginning. Vocabulary is what's going to support all of your other skill sets, right? So you're going to need to be familiar with as many words as possible. That's going to help you with your listening, whether you're listening to lectures or just communicating with others. And then, of course, vocabulary will help you with your reading and your writing and your speaking. So there are a lot of free resources available on the internet. And now is a great opportunity for you to find the wide variety of support tools. One that I particularly like and have been supporting for many years now is FreeRice.com. And as you log into this, and you just sign on, you just go directly to the website. It doesn't require you to sign on. You just go through and start taking guesses at different words. So here we have the word garland, and if you correctly choose adulterate, that's a nice medium level word there. If you choose the correct answer, you can see the rice bowl at the bottom. The rice bowl starts to fill up. And so what that means, and you can see on the left-hand side of your screen there are global stats that go along with this. And it's been running for quite a long time now, as you can see. Over 200 billion grains of rice have been donated. So the more people who participate in this website, the more rice is donated to people who need it. So you are also contributing to the sort of betterment of humanity as you are learning new vocabulary words. And if I'm not mistaken, there are other subjects that you can study on this website as well. So if you click on the three bars at the top left, you'll see a drop-down menu. You can change the difficulty level. You can switch between games, and you can choose, you can see what the leaderboards are like if you choose to log in. So this is a really good tool for sort of casually fixing up and rechecking your vocabulary skills while contributing on a larger scale worldwide. So that's a really useful one, and learners of all levels can take advantage of that site. Thanks. Another site that is very useful, and this one's really good for school and for studying, for specific studying, is vocabulary.com. Vocabulary.com is excellent for, especially for students who are needing to study specific vocabulary related to specific texts. But it's also good for educators, because if you scroll down just a little bit, you can see that you have some words you need to learn. You can type words in here. Any English words that you want to learn, you can type them in there. So if we start with register, for example, the word register, we start learning / teaching this word. And the website automatically creates a list. Of course, it gives you the definition, and then it allows you to make a self-regulated list to the word you need to know. But you can also look through this website and find hundreds and maybe thousands of different word lists that are related to books, subjects, topics, grade level, and you name it. And then you can quiz yourself. And as you quiz yourself, this site tracks your progress. So it shows if you're learning the words correctly. It shows how many words you've learned correctly. It shows how many minutes you've studied these words for, and so on. So if you're playing if you're using this site with friends or with classmates, you can track who's studying the most and who is progressing the fastest. So during, if you're staying at home right now and studying at home, this is a good opportunity for you to track your own progress. So vocabulary is really going to be one of the foundations for all of the other skills. So these are some nice sort of low impact ways that you can be studying vocabulary in a kind of enjoyable, hopefully enjoyable for you kind of way. So after vocabulary, what you're really going to want to start doing, and in school we do a ton of this, is reading, right? Now, because you could be reading at any level, and I have no way to tell what kind of level you're at, we can start from the very, very early years. Maybe you have a little brother or a little sister or a cousin, niece or nephew, whatever the case may be, and they are just getting started on their reading journey. So starfall.com is a great resource for early reading, phonics, comprehension, and so on. A lot of it is free, and you'll be able to poke around in there. And if this is below your level, we're going to look at higher level information later. But if it's within your level or someone level that you know, this is a great resource for providing support and also for reinforcing your current level of reading. Thanks. So if we go back to the testpreview.com, we're getting into much higher level reading practice here. So I think the main point is that reading comprehension is something that is complicated for learners of all levels. You've got to be familiar with the vocabulary. It, of course, helps you to be familiar with the content. And typically, the only way to be familiar with reading content is to have read something about that already. So the more reading that you're doing, the easier you're going to find your reading comprehension across all subjects. And most standardized school exams, and IELTS and TOEFL and SAT for sure, are all going to have a reading comprehension and vocabulary comprehension section associated with them. So the important thing for you to know as a student is, or as a parent or a teacher, whatever the case may be, is that there are a ton of free resources online. And what's nice about a lot of these is that they will allow you to track your progress in real time. It looks as though this site isn't going to allow you to track how many answers you've gotten correct, but a simple Google search of reading comprehension, online reading comprehension quizzes, provides an extremely high number of reading comprehension resources that you can take advantage of. Okay, thank you. And now, moving on to another very important skill, listening, right? You're getting a good listening opportunity here. I hope that I'm speaking clearly and at a good speed for you all. The first here, especially since we're talking about ESL, is English Class 101 on YouTube. It's all free, and as you'll see, there are tons and tons of videos on this site in particular, and you could probably never run out of videos on this site. And they provide options for studying a British accent and studying an American accent and studying at various levels and for various amounts of time. There are also free quizzes with answers on this website or on this YouTube channel. And it's just a really useful way for you to test yourself specifically relative to your listening comprehension. And also some of the videos are a little quirky and they're kind of fun and enjoyable. So you can quiz your friends and you can watch them for enjoyment as well as practice. And then next down, we start to get into some more academic topics. If you're listening for the purposes of following a lecture, the TED Talks, which many hundreds and maybe more than that these days, those are a really useful resource for you. They're free. Often notes and transcripts are you click on word, you can click on the word that you hear, and it will take you to that part in the presentation. And then finally here for listening is another TED Talk. Now this one is especially useful for students. It was for me when I was a student anyway, and still today oftentimes, is a lecture of procrastinating, how to try and get better at procrastinating. You can listen to that one later when you find some time, if you get around to it. But these are all really useful tools for improving your vocabulary awareness and making sure that you're sort of staying up to speed with lecture style information while you are studying from home. Okay, so then we move on to everyone's favorite, which is, of course, composition or writing. As with all of these, really the best thing you can do
is...
Might have lost him again.
It's okay. So, yeah, so it's obviously lots of really, really useful sites already. It's a nice introduction to what David's going to be doing with people in the future as well. So, what I will do very quickly is to show you guys, and obviously remember that all of the resources and things that David's paying heed to will be available on our site after this as well. So all the links that he's making you aware of and whatnot, just obviously come back onto our site and you can see those and explore yourself. So one of the links David was talking about there was the Hemingway app as well. So here is an example of what that will do, because obviously, as you know from my English lessons, being able to write very clearly is just one of those really important life skills. So this is one of the examples that David was about to show you as well. He was also going to show the, I don't know, have you ever seen this one before, mind mapping?
I actually haven't.
Yeah, so it's actually really, really useful. So it's this idea of, so in English we talk a bit about how we understand the etymology of words, so where words come from, word roots. So, for example, homophone, for instance, is two Greek words. So homo meaning same and phone meaning sound. So that's why we get telephone, all those sort of things. So if you understand where words come from, then you're able to better understand them when you see them again. And that obviously helps. When we were watching Alex's Spanish lesson a minute ago, prior to this session, that obviously really helps because you then are able to understand how to use that word in the future in a sentence. So David, we'll just, I took your writing section and just ran with it a little bit for you.
No, thank you very much. I don't mind at all. I don't know where to cut off.
So we got
okay.
Basically, one tool you'll find really useful is, so the guys have all seen the Hemingway and the mind mapping. And I said already, David, that all the links you're making reference to, they're able to find them on our site afterwards as well. So there's no need for them to worry too much.
Beautiful. Okay. That kind of wraps it up for speaking. Speaking is a little bit tricky. If you're learning a language, if you're learning English as a second language, and you don't have anybody in the house, you're going to need to speak with somebody, presumably outside of the house. Now, if you don't have anybody, this is kind of last-ditch effort, but it's something that you can always do on your own. You can always record yourself on your phone or on your computer, and then listen to yourself back and transcribe what you have said. From your transcription, presumably, you can identify some areas in which you can make corrections to your own language. You can be checking for grammar, you can be checking for, not spelling, I guess, but you can be checking for the structure of your speaking, and you can also identify pauses and your tone. So that's kind of an overview of different sources, resources that are available to you while you're studying at home. And also you can continue to use these things, well into when you're back into schools. It's been a real pleasure being here, and I've really enjoyed coming on and off of the camera. And I'm looking forward to the next one. My one request is that anybody who's watching, parent, teachers, students, what have you, send in requests for topic discussion, and it'll make it a lot easier for me to provide you with supporting information about topics that are important to you. Okay?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So happy that you're on board. And we'll see you again next week.
See you next week.
Hopefully. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was actually great. I'm really
Yeah,
excited.
a really good introduction in terms of the content as well as to what anyone who requires to study English language can towards. Because obviously these things can always be pricey and it's not easy to access for education. We're doing our best obviously here, but sometimes you need someone just to point you in the right direction. So that was really useful.
Yeah, love it. Love it. All right, I will let you lead out, Mike.
Okay, well, it's a pleasure. So for the final time today then, so for English as a second language today, what we'll do is we will, as we said already, we'll put all the resources that David has made reference to in his session today on the system, so that you're able then to explore the links and pages that he's made reference to. That's obviously available on our Stream School page, and obviously the code is visible right now. And again, guys, as always, feel free to leave any comments across our Facebook, YouTube, various different pages that we are interacting with you on. And as always, it's been a real pleasure for me, at least, taking on a different role today. Nisha, I hope I did okay pretending to be you. That's all right.
You did fine. You did fine. I know. I hope I did okay pretending to be Leon.
Ah, you did all right. You did all right. Don't you worry about that. And yeah, thank you guys. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and we'll see you tomorrow. Actually, we've got a long day tomorrow. I think 5 sessions again tomorrow.
Starts off with the best lesson though tomorrow.
Oh
English.
yeah, we have English with Mr. Guard over here.
Who's that guy? Yeah, who's that guy?
All right, thank you, and I'll